Okay, we're going to do a couple of really great core drills here. We're going to start off with dying bugs and then we'll move into bird dogs. For a dying bug, as you can see, I have Nicole positioned here on the mat. The main thing you want to pay attention to here is your core position, and here we want a neutral spine. And a neutral spine refers to bracing through the core. Really want to target the transverse abdominis, which lies deep underneath the rectus and is responsible for spinal stability. You want to have a tiny arch, the amount of lordotic arch that you would have when you normally stand, but we don't want to accentuate that as you start moving the arms and legs, as Nicole will in a second. So she's bracing tight through that core. She's spreading her fingers out across her abdomen to make sure that the abs don't pop up, which usually indicate that the lower back was arching. And taking her time, she's going to extend one arm and the opposite leg out as close to the floor as possible, not accentuating that lumbar arch, and then coming back. Really bracing tight through the core, extending through, and bringing it back to center. Now that's the easy version. Nicole's pretty good at these, so we'll go right to the advanced version, which is lifting the knees up over the hips. Now no matter when you're doing these, what you want to make sure is that whichever leg is staying home is not moving in or out, but staying directly over the hip. She's bracing tight, firing down through her belly button, down through her spine, making sure not to arch back, and she's extending one arm in the opposite leg as close to the floor as possible and bringing it back up. Do a couple of those reps, Nicole. Now what you're going to have to do here is take kind of shallow breaths through pursed lips, because it's very difficult to keep the core contraction that you're looking for and get the limbs moving in this way. It's a very hard drill if you do it correctly, and great for increasing spinal stability and core strength. Excellent job, Nicole. And that is called a dying bug, and you would do anywhere between 8, 12, 16 reps of those, alternating from side to side, depending on whether you did the beginner or the advanced version. From there, we're going to move into another great core drill called a bird dog, and Nicole's going to flip up. Now here we're also going to work the core, but we're also going to get a little more of the lower back involved. Now what you're going to see here, we're going to get Nicole into a nice quadruped position where her wrists are directly beneath her shoulders, and she's giving me a neutral spine. Why don't you show me what a heavy arch would look like, Nicole? We're trying to avoid a position that looks like this. We also would like to avoid a rounding of the back, anything that looks like that. We're trying to get into a nice neutral spine posture and not accentuate this as we do the drill. Basically, we have the same thing going on where she's going to be extending one arm in the opposite leg. So she's going to brace tight through her core, and nice and slow, she's going to extend. Now hold that for a second, Nicole. She's getting extension through her glute. She's also getting some thoracic extension here, which means extension through the middle upper back, and we're trying hard not to accentuate this arch down here. Okay, do a couple of those reps, Nicole. Now you have to do these slowly, because you really want to focus on not changing that core position. If you just kind of fly through them, they're pointless, you won't feel much going on, and you'll actually probably wind up aggravating your lower back. So you can see Nicole does have a little bit of work to do here on thoracic extension. She's having a little bit of trouble getting that arm up without flying into an arch. I'm going to hold her in a little more neutral posture. It doesn't matter if you don't come up quite as high initially. The main thing you want to do is keep this flat as a board. A lot of times what I'll do with kids is place a speed and agility cone on their back and tell them not to lose that cone as they're doing the exercise. Okay, rest Nicole. And those would be bird dogs, another great core drill, and once again we're talking about anywhere between 12, 14, 16 reps per set.